right, everyone. So we are coming back. We are now on lesson 5, statistics. All right. I apologize for how long these take to load sometimes. So, lesson 5, your two assignments for this are your mastery check and then creating statistics worksheet. So that worksheet will be provided to you. You guys will have an opportunity to do it in person and on Cam. All right, so statistics, essentially a large amount of data can be collected in these studies. So what we want to do is we want to organize that data and we want to describe it in a meaningful way. Then we want to use that to make predictions about the future. All right, so we have different types of statistics. The first one is descriptive. So descriptive, they help you kind of describe, show, or summarize data in a meaningful way. All right, they don't allow you to make conclusions beyond, what the data has already kind of shown, but they help you kind of summarize what's going on. So we can use frequency distribution tables, and this will kind of help show us, hey, how many times does this happen and, this many numbers. We can use histograms. I know you guys know most of these, so I'm not really going to spend too much time going over them. We can also use the measure of central tendency. So this is the one that we are going to practice in class. So this is the average, the mean, median, mode. All right. So when it comes to mean or average, what we want to do is we want to figure out what is the average single score that represents this whole set of numbers. So we're going to add up all of these numbers and then divide it by how many there are. So in this situation, we're adding 67, 72, 72, 91, 77. Then we're dividing by 5 because there's 5 numbers there. So that will give us our average, and that will give us a single score that could represent the whole set of scores. Next is the median or middle. So in this situation, what you want to do is place the numbers from lowest to highest in value order, and then you want to figure out the middle number. So in our set, we would say 67, 72, 72, 77, 91. All right. Well, thankfully, this data set, we just have to switch these two around. So we would count inward and we'd say, okay, 72 is our middle number. All right, that is our middle, our median, and not necessarily our average. And what we're going to do is say, okay, in our data set, 72 is a single score that would represent. Mode is most. So that is the most occurring number. Thankfully, we have a small data set. We can look down and see 72 is the number that occurs the most. So in a larger data set, you would add up, you would take all these numbers and figure out how many times it shows up. So let's say this was 20 numbers long. If we had 67 in there 10 times, then you would say, okay, 67 is 10 times. Maybe 72 is twice, 91 is 3, and so on. So you would use that information to help determine what that most occurring number is. Finally, we have our range. So our range essentially is just taking the highest number and subtracting the lowest number because we want to see what the span is between the numbers. So in this situation, it would be 91 minus 67. We would say, okay, this is our range. So this could be a reasonable score or it could be up in this level. All right, that is all we're going to cover for stats. So this was very short. I want you guys to work on the mean, median, mode, and range worksheet. This will help you kind of start looking at, hey, how do I figure out from my data? So when you guys start actually going through and conducting your studies, you're going to have some sort of numerical data in there. What this is doing is kind of showing you, hey, here's the very basics. Now we can go more in depth. We can talk about z-scores. We can talk about, the charts that you see where they kind of go up, how it's skewed, whether it's positive or negative. If you choose to study psychology in the future or go on with more classes, you'll eventually hit that point where you'll talk about that. But for the purpose of this class, we are just kind of ending right there because that's about the extent of where we're going to end it. That's the extent of what you need to know to get through the first introductory level.